Welcome back to Grit and Gut Podcast, where toughness talks, the grit, the grind, the guts, and the greatness, all things wrestling. I'm your co-host, Coach Craig VanDyke.
And I'm Mike Harbison, and today we are kicking off the Greco-Roman preview. We'll start with the lightweights, 55, 60, 63 kilos, and keep moving our way up. One of these guys is seated in the top 6 at Worlds, which is huge for Team USA.
Yeah, so Mike, unfortunately, the bar's pretty low for us in Greco. You know, historically, we are not a Greco country. We are known for our great freestyle wrestlers, both men and women's, but unfortunately, Greco hasn't been it. There has been a couple bright spots over the years, but I'll tell you what, we're averaging less than one medal per year since the year 2000. And even going back before that, from 1962 to the year 2000, Mike. Do you have a guess on how many medals we've won from 1950 all the way through the year 2000?
Let's go with 7.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the good news. From 1950 to the year 2000, that 50-year span, we did get 27 medals.
Okay.
And since the year 2000 has been 19. So that's the whole history of U.S. Greco. I'll drop some names later on. But, you know, there we are. Here's another little trivia for you. Who, U.S. Greco wrestler, has medaled the most times at World and Olympics? Do you know that one?
I have no clue on that one.
Okay. I know one of our listeners out there knows. Matt Gaffari. 4.
Okay.
He's got 4. So, all right. So he was a heavyweight. Let's start at the other end, 55 kilos. Jayden Raney. We got some youth here. He's one of our youngest Greco athletes. Historically, this is not a successful weight for us. It's been dominated by Azizli. He's from Azerbaijan and Russia's Sefer Shayev. When eligible, there's some story to that. But this is new ground for us. He's the youngster. Mike, what's our outlook?
Well, you know, him and his brother are both really good wrestlers, right? You know, so I think that brotherly battle has benefited them both as far as their growth and development in wrestling, right? And he's just tough, man. He's got that youthful toughness. He's got that youthful pace, right? He just doesn't all gas tank, you know. He is a little bit undersized for the senior Greco level. But in his department, I mean, he really makes up for that with the energy and the intensity that he comes with. And I mean, he's a fighter. He's going to fight, you know, every tie up, every parterre. And that's what you really want in a young Greco athlete. So this is definitely going to be some good experience for him. And you never know, you know, the young guy might just come in and shock the world.
That's why we wrestle the matches, right, Mike? That's what we say. So he's unseeded, and that's going to be tough. He's probably going to draw into a top seed. You know, the Azerbaijani, like I said, the Russian. There's a Romanian. There's some unseeded wrestlers who are really dangerous here. The Japanese wrestler, the Turk, the Iranian. He's going to have to come out firing. I'd be a little surprised if we medal here. You know, that's kind of going to be the theme of the night. You know, 10 weight classes, Mike. We have one seeded wrestler, and we'll talk about him. But, you know, I don't want to belabor the point, but medaling anywhere is going to be tough. I think this is going to be a great experience for Raney, and I hope the future is bright for him. You know, no expectations right now on him. Just go out there and battle.
Yep. For sure.
All right. Well, let's move up to 60 kilos. So it's 60. We have Max Black. Now, he's been around. That's a name we've seen for a little bit here. But I'll tell you what, this is one of the most brutal Greco weights. This is a gnarly weight class. We haven't medaled here since, I think, the 2000s. Let me just double check that. We're at 60. Yeah, so in 2006, we had Joe Warren, one of the very few Greco world champions we had. He won a gold. We have not medaled there since 2006, Mike.
Well, and you know, like, it's tough because he is in like such one of the hardest stinking weight classes, right, for Greco, right?
Yes.
But man, he has gotten drastically better the last couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a grinder. He grinded through the Open, um, and then he placed third at the Olympic trials back when that was going on. But then after the Open this year, he actually went down and won the Pan Ams with a nasty 5-pointer in the championship. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's training at Northern Michigan. And like I said before, his last 2 years of growth has been amazing because up until like the last 2 years, I think like 17th, 18th in world competitions and stuff like that was what he was, kind of where he was hitting at.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty exciting, I think, from our aspect, right? To have a U.S. guy he's really on an upward trajectory right now,
Sure.
coming into these world championships. So he's got a lot of confidence coming into it, which I think is really going to help his style after winning that. I'm
At the
sorry,
Pan
after winning the
Ams.
Pan Ams.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Mm-hmm.
So his style is real tight. He doesn't get too sloppy. He works inside ties, and he's dangerous when he gets a lock, as we saw in the Pan Am Championships. So he's tough and he's resilient. So it is the toughest bracket, but
Yeah.
I would love to
Absolutely.
see him. I would love him to see him at least break into that top 10. And
Sure.
I think that's, what I mean. I think that's going to give a lot of hope and a lot of love for him going into not just Worlds next year, but also LA coming up, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So he's going to be unseeded, number one seeded guy, I should say. People's Republic of Korea, also known as North
yeah,
Korea. There's an Azerbaijani who's number three, the
yeah,
Georgian number five. He's gonna pull into it a tough draw. The Serbian, I think, is number two.
sure.
There's no easy outs here,
Nope.
but like you kind of mentioned, his discipline. Maybe that gives him a fighting chance. We know he's going to go out there and battle. He has been improving, so we'll see what happens there with Max Black. Like you said,
For sure.
uh, tough weight, the toughest weight probably at Greco. So
Tough
it's
wait,
not
but I am excited to see how he does.
absolutely
Like he's on, like I said, he's on such an upward trajectory
for sure.
that I'm excited to see where he's going.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, moving up to 63. The most similar weight we've had to that was 62. We have not medaled there, Mike, since 1979, where we had a guy named Kuzu take silver. So but Ellis Coleman, for those of you who don't follow Greco, you
Hmm.
probably know who Ellis Coleman is. We know
Oh
why the
yeah.
flying squirrel. I still got kids trying to calling out, let's do the flying
Oh man.
squirrel. So he's iconic for that. Here's how old I am, Mike. I still see him as that young guy that's making the team, but he's no young guy.
Was that back in 2012?
I know, right? He was a young guy back then, but he's the savvy veteran here. He's
Man,
the guy.
yeah.
He's is one of our biggest hopes for a medal. So he hasn't gotten it quite done in the medal to get to a medal yet, but he's tried and true. He's battle tested. Mike, what do you see here?
And again, he made the team again.
Again,
Like
yeah.
he's so good. He's so seasoned. He's gritty on the inside. He's constantly fighting. He takes advantage of the opportunity throws when they come, and
Mm-hmm.
he's been around long enough to know how to win. His grit isn't about flash anymore. It's just about position, holding good position, and he's coming off a huge win at the Zagreb Open too,
Yeah.
which he looked really good. And some guys, it's not their skill is the reason they don't place, right? It's what's going on between the ears, right,
Mm-hmm.
during the match, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, and I don't know I don't know, but I wonder if maybe that's starting to turn the corner for him, and that's where we got such a huge win at the Zagreb too.
But Coleman's path really gives him a realistic shot into the semis. Okay, he's on the bottom of the bracket. He's going to have to face the 3 seed, yes, who is the Turk. But you know what? He's experienced. He's like you said, Mike. He's got it right between the ears. A U.S. medal at 63 kilos. Hey, it's in play.
It could happen. It
It
could
could
happen.
happen. Yeah.
Well,
All right, moving up to 67, we have Alston Nutter. He's one of the young guys building that Greco pipeline. I do think, I want to say right here, I do think our future is going to be looking pretty good for the Greco team, Mike. We do have young guys in here.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, so this might be a getting experience here for him.
Yeah.
The closest weights to this in our Greco history, 66 and 68. We only have 2 medals there. There is a 70 weight class, but that's closer to the next one. So in 1992, we got an Olympic bronze here, Rodney Smith at 68 kilos. And then our last medal in these similar weights, Harry Lester, 2007 Worlds. He was a bronze medalist. So Nutter, what do we think about Nutter here, Mike?
He made the team. He too is gritty, right? A lot of these guys are young, so they're just gritty, right? They're going to grind it out. He's got like a fight first type style. He doesn't back down in the hand fights, and he's willing to go the full 6 minutes in the trenches, getting dirty with it. And he's still growing into this weight, but he's fearless. And he is known for his dynamic throws, exemplified by his powerful match winning techniques. And, he's got the potential to make some highlight clips when he's out there. Okay. So, he's a member of the U.S. Army WCAP. So, which a lot of these guys are. I know Ellis Coleman is, and, quite a few of them are, which is awesome. He's also trained at Northern Michigan, which, those guys are out there producing some good Greco guys, and they're doing a lot of great things for Greco in the U.S. So that's a good spot for him to be at. So he's got the good core, and like you said, he's one of these up and comers, right? The younger guys with the, so it'll be exciting to see how he does.
So, hopefully he gets drawn in somewhere. He'll be unseated. Hopefully he gets drawn in somewhere where at the we know he's going to face a brutal draw. So hopefully it's
Sure.
somebody who makes the finals if he ends up losing that first match, someone that can pull him back into the repechage, and who knows, maybe get some wins there. Again, that's why we wrestle the matches. Anything can happen. The Iranian here is really good as the 1 seed. We got a guy from Moldova as the 2, Azerbaijani number 3. You're going to hear a lot of Iran and Azerbaijan. Those are really the top 2 teams. In my opinion, they're going to be battling for a team title. So he's got 2 tough ones in this weight. It's going to be tough. I think he's going to get some good experience here, though.
For sure. All
right, moving on up. 72 kilos. So we have no medals at 72 kilos. Most similar weights, 74 kilos. There was a 75 kilo as well, but maybe that's closer to the 77 weight. So 74, there's one guy who has medaled here. He did it twice. He did the 1984 Olympics. Jim Martinez took a bronze. He followed that up the next year, 1985, with the bronze. No medals since then, Mike. But, hey, we got Alejandro Sancho now. He was an Olympian in Tokyo. Now he's moved up a weight class. Hey, this has been a really tough weight for the U.S. But Sancho, he's got some experience. He knows how to keep his composure. Mike, give us the update on Sancho.
Yeah, so he made the team again by using what makes him dangerous. He's tight, technical parterre defense, and strong positioning. He doesn't give up big moves at all. He's stingy with that, and his grit is just about the discipline. He stays locked in every exchange, and he too he's part of the WCAP and also Northern Michigan. So again, he's in that great environment. He's in the, beautiful training environment. So it'll be nice to see what he does. Like you said, former Olympian. So it'll be cool. He's got that experience under his belt as well. So it'd be nice to see what he can do. We know he's coming in unseeded, but can he bust up the bracket or, wrestle backs and stuff like that? How's he going to do it? Can he score some team points and, maybe crack that top 10?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, unseeded, it's going to be tough. He's going to get a tough draw. This weight class, Azerbaijani number 1, Serbian number 2, French guy number 3, and a guy from Uzbekistan is going to be number 4 here. I made a top 5 of the 5 kind of top Greco guys to watch, just as an overview. And in the weights we covered today, Azizli from Azerbaijan at 55 kilos, he's on the list. Orta from Cuba at 67. So Azizli, he's a 3-time world champion, and he also won the 2024 non-Olympic world title. So really a 4-time world champion. The Cuban Luis Orta, he's an Olympic champion at 60. and a 2023 world champion at 67. So those are two to watch out for. Hopefully Sancho gets a good place in the bracket. Hey, he's not facing one of those top 5 guys, at least that I've listed, the top 5 Greco guys.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I think Sancho has, he has some experience there. So hopefully good things happen. The draw matters. I don't want to beat that too much, but the draw really matters for unseeded guys.
In these unseeded categories with these tough brackets, the draw matters so much.
That's right. All right, so there you go. There's Team USA in our first 5 weight classes.
And you got Raney fighting uphill, Black looking for an upset, Coleman seated in the top 6, which is awesome with a real medal shot. Nutter learning in the fire, Sancho steady and disciplined. That's the story of grit in the U.S. Greco. Next episode, we'll move up to the bigger weights, 77, 82, 87, 97, 130 kilos. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that means Kamal Bay.
All right.